Hello everyone. Today I'll be presenting on a very important topic, alcoholism, a hidden struggle. My name is Tasfia Akhtar Uzma and I am a BIT student in first year. This presentation is for my philosophy and current issues subject. We will be exploring alcoholism as a growing social concern in Malaysia. Over the next few minutes, I will be talking about what alcoholism really means, why it's becoming more visible in our society, and what should we can do for it. Let me begin with an introduction. Alcoholism is becoming a serious social concern in Malaysia, and this is largely due to rapid changes in our lifestyle and increasing mental pressure, especially in recent years. The post pandemic era has brought new challenges. Many people experienced higher stress levels, financial uncertainty, and emotional struggles. At the same time, social media and modern culture have in some ways made drinking seem normal and even more glamorous. We see it in movies, on Instagram, or in social gatherings. Drinking is often shown as a way to relax or have fun. Now, here's something important about Malaysia. We are a country with cultural and religious restrictions on alcohol, especially for Muslims. But these restrictions, alcohol has become more accessible than ever before. You can find it in any store, supermarkets, or even order it online. This easy access means that the issue of alcoholism is now touching different parts of our society, different ages, different backgrounds, and different communities. So the problem is real, it's growing, and it affects all of us in some way. So what exactly we are trying to achieve with this presentation? I have set out four main objectives. First, I want to present alcoholism as a significant social issue in Malaysia, not just a personal problem, but something that affects families, communities, and society as a whole. We will look at what causes people to develop drinking problems and how that impacts their lives and the people around them. Secondly, we will examine recent statistics. Numbers can help us understand the real scale of the problem. Is it getting worse? Who is the most affected? These are questions the data can answer. Third, we will apply a social science theory to understand alcoholism more deeply. This isn't just about listing facts. We want to understand why people behave the way they do, and the theory helps us to do that. And finally, we are exploring meaningful approaches, practical solutions that can help create awareness and actually make a difference in addressing this issue. Now, let's be clear about what we are talking about. What is alcoholism? Alcoholism, which doctors and health professionals call alcohol use disorder, it's a chronic condition. That means it's a long term and doesn't just go away on its own. People with this disorder lose control over their drinking. They may want to stop, but they can't. And the continuous, even when drinking is clearly causing harm to their health, their relationships, and their daily life. It's important to understand that alcoholism involves both physical and psychological dependence. Physically, the body craves alcohol and may experience withdrawal symptoms without it. Psychologically, the person believes they need alcohol to cope, to relax, or to function normally. There's another term you should know, binge drinking. This is different from daily heavy drinking. Binge drinking means consuming a large amount of alcohol in a short period, typically 5 or more drinks in one session. This is common among young people at parties or social events. And here's why it's dangerous. Binge drinking significantly increases the risk of accidents, injuries, and long term health problems. It can also be a gateway to full addiction. So, alcoholism isn't just about drinking too much, it's about losing control, and binge drinking is often where the problem starts. So, let's talk about why people develop alcohol problems. There's never just one single cause, it's usually a combination of factors. First, family influence. This is huge. When children grow up seeing family members drink at gatherings, celebrations, or even just at home after work, it normalizes alcohol. They learn that this is just what adults do. And when they become teenagers or young adults, they are more likely to follow that example. Early exposure shapes attitudes, and positive attitudes lead to higher risk of drinking later. Second, financial stress and work pressure. Malaysia's urban life is fast paced and demanding. Many people face job stress, long working hours, and money worries. When things get hard, some turn to alcohol as a coping mechanism, the way to escape or numb the stress during through economic times. These patterns often increases. Thirdly, accessibility. This is simple but important. When something is easy to get, more people will use it. In Malaysia, alcohol is widely available in stores, bars, restaurants, increasingly on online platforms. This easy access make it harder for people to resist, especially those already struggling with control. And fourth, cultural factors. In some non-Muslim communities in Malaysia, alcohol is social accepted and even expected at celebrations and events. When drinking is part of your culture tradition, it becomes normal, and this increases its prevalence within those communities. So you can see family stress, excess, and cultural role play in this factor. It's a complex issue. Now, what happens when alcoholism takes hold? The consequences are serious and touch every part of our life. First, health issues. This is the most direct impact. Alcoholism causes liver disease. Cirrhosis is common among long term drinkers. It damages the heart, increases blood pressure, and can lead to heart problems. It also affects the brain, contributing to depression, anxiety, and other mental disorders. All of us puts a heavy burden on individuals who suffer and also on our healthcare system which has to treat this condition. Second, family strain. This is where the hidden struggle becomes visible. Alcohol abuse is strongly linked to domestic violence. When people are drunk, they may become aggressive, lose their control. It leads to divorce as relationship breaks and down under the weight of addiction. And children in these families suffer. They experience neglect, trauma, anxiety, and often repeated these patterns when they grow up. The cycle continues. And third, economic impact. This affects not just families but all of society. Healthcare costs go up treating alcohol related illness, workplace lose productivity when employees are absent or not performing well because of drinking. And there are accidents, drunk driving causes injuries, deaths. And these accidents cost everyone money through insurance, emergency services, and lost potential. So, alcoholism isn't a private habit, it has ripple effects throughout society. Let's look at some numbers to understand the scale of this issue in Malaysia. Recent statistics shows that 11.5% of Malaysian adults are current drinkers. That means they have consumed alcohol in the past year. Now, 11.5% might not sound huge, but remember that Malaysia's Muslim population doesn't drink for religious reason. So among non-Muslims, the percentage is huge higher. The data also shows higher prevalence among men and people living in urban areas. City life, with its stress and social opportunities, seems to encourage more drinking. Here's a warning statistics also. Heavy episodic drinking affects around 27% of drinkers in some areas. That's more than one in four people who drink, engaging in binge drinking patterns that put them at high risk. Youth alcohol use is concerning. Young people are being exposed to alcohol early and often throughout social influence and family habits. This early exposure matters. People who start drinking young are more likely to develop problems later. There's another indicator of the problem. Drunk driving and alcohol related accidents have increased. This shows that the issue isn't just about health but about public safety too. So, the statistics tell us this is real, it's affecting many people, and the trend isn't going down. Research gives us deeper insight into what's happening. Studies in Malaysia point to several factors driving alcohol use. Urban stress is a major contributor. Life in cities like Kuala Lumpur, Penang, or Johor Bahru comes with pressures, traffic, competition, cost of living. People use alcohol to unwind. Academic pressures affects students. University life can be stressful with exams, assignments, and the challenges of being away from home. Some students turn to drinking as a way to cope or fit in it with friends. Work pressures affect others. Long hours, demanding bosses, job insecurities, these push people toward alcohol as a temporary escape. And then there's social boredom. In some communities, especially rural areas with limited recreational options, drinking becomes something to do, a way to pass time. Studies among youth and university students show that exposure to alcohol through social setting is increases experimentation. When friends drink, the family drinks. When it's part of the culture around you, you are more likely to try to eat yourself, and for some experimentations becomes regular use, and regular use becomes risky drinking. All this research points to one clear conclusion. We need awareness, companions, education, and prevention intervention, and we need them now. To understand alcoholism more deeply, let's look at it through the lens of social learning theory. The theory developed by psychologist Albert Bandura explains that we learn behaviors by watching and imitations others. We don't just wake up one day knowing how to behave. We observe people around us, especially those who admire and spend time with, and we copy what they do. So, how does this apply to alcoholism? Think about it. A child sees their parents drinking at family gatherings. A teenager watches older friends drink at parties and have fun. A young adult sees colleagues drinking after work and bonding over it. Through observation, they learn that drinking is normal, acceptable, and even desirable. Then they imitate, they try to eat themselves, and if the experience is positive, if they feel relaxed, accepted, part of the group, they reinforce the behavior in them. They are motivated to do it again and again. This is why alcoholism can spread through families and friend groups. This learned behavior passed down and shared through observation and imitation. Understanding this is powerful because if behavior can be learned, it can also be unlearned. And positive models, people who don't drink, who have healthy coping strategies, can also be observed and imitated. Now, I want to share my personal experience with this. It's actually my personal reflection with you. Researching this topic opened my eyes. Before this, I knew alcoholism existed, but I didn't fully understand its widespread impact, especially among young people. Learning that 12.9% of adolescents use alcohol for their recreation is really shocked me. These are teenagers, students like us. Those lives are just begins. They made me realize that the struggle with alcohol isn't something distant or separate from us, it's our communities, maybe even among people we know. This research also highlighted something important. Prevention isn't just about rules and regulations, it's about personal responsibility. Each of us making concise choices about our health and behavior, and it's about family and community supporter. People don't struggle alone and they shouldn't have to recover alone. When families talk openly about these issues, when communities offer support without judgment, when friends look out for each other, that's when real changes happen. This project reminded me that we all have a role to play in creating a healthier society. So, now what can we do? Let's talk about some practical solutions. First, education initiatives. We need alcohol awareness programs in schools and universities starting early before drinking becomes a habit. Students need to understand the real risk, not just hear, don't do it. They need facts about health effects, addiction, and the social consequence. When young people are empowered with knowledge, they can make better choices. Second, role models. This connects back to social learning theory. If people learn by observing, we need to give them positive things to observe. Community campaigns can showcase non drinking role models. Athletes, artists, professionals, everyday people who live healthy, fulfilling lives without alcohol. When young people see that they can have fun without alcohol, be successful, and belong without drinking, it changes what they think is normal. And third, government actions. Individual choices matters, but the environment matters too. Effective regulations and taxation of alcohol can make a difference. Stricter laws on who can buy alcohol, where it can be sold, and how it's advertised can limit excess and reduce consumption. Higher taxes make alcohol less affordable, especially for young people, and public health initiatives funded by these taxes can support treatment and prevention and programs. These three approaches together, education, role models, and government action, can create real change. Let me conclude by bringing everything together. Alcoholism in Malaysia is a real and growing challenge. It affects health, breaks families, costs the economy, and touches communities across our diverse society, but it's not hopeless. The path forward requires three things: early education, teaching young people the facts before they are exposed to exposure and temptation; positive role models, showing that a good life doesn't need alcohol and that choosing not to drink is normal and admirable; and active community engagement, families talking, communities supporting, neighbors caring. When we combine these efforts, we can reduce alcohol related harm and build a healthier society, not perfect overnight, but better step by step. That concludes my presentation. Thank you for all your attention and time. I hope this discussion has been informative and thought provoking.